We are back live. What is up, YouTube? As always, I'm Corey.
I'm John. We're back with the 5D Warrior Podcast, episode 30. Took a little bit of a hiatus. Corey went to football camp. I've been working 2 jobs, but we're finally back in the 5D office. We got a new mic. We got the clear audio.
Yes, sir. We'll be on Spotify and Apple soon. I'm going to get that up and running within the next couple of days, so you could catch us on there. And be sure to look out for more clips on TikTok, Instagram, and everywhere. And get the 5D merch.
Yes.
So I've been at school, right? And I've been really diving into all sorts of different ideas. Stuff that I haven't necessarily looked into all that much. A lot of Hinduism stuff, right? The Bhagavad Gita I have right here. I've been listening to a lot of Ram Dass, the Yoga Sutras of Patanjali I've read. And it's honestly introduced me to a lot of new ideas pertaining to presence and mantra. And that's what I want to get into today. I want to get into all things cosmic consciousness.
Okay, yeah, I've been studying Ram Dass as well. His book, Spiritual Journey to a Spiritual Awakening, something along those lines, right? It talks about all different types of meditation, mantra meditation, devotion, all this stuff. But Corey and I have been resonating with the mantra meditation a lot because it's essentially, so all enlightenment is, you explain this pretty well too, is an unwavering presence from God, right? So the more throughout your day that you are experiencing God and thinking about God, that is pure enlightenment. That is the present moment, right? So what the mantra helps you to do is to stay in that present moment at all times. Ram Dass talks about different deities that you could use, that you can call in their name and essentially be like you taught. I don't know if you made the TikTok about befriending them.
Yeah,
right?
Befriending these deities, right? In Hinduism, they're called devatas, right? They're incarnations of God in his most realized form. So that comes in the form of beings like Krishna, Rama, Jesus, the Buddha, etc. These beings that we can look to, aspire, and embody into our own lives. So I've been experimenting a lot with the Ram mantra. So throughout the day, I've been going out and saying Ram, 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 Ram. And whether you're saying it out loud or not, it still has a profound effect. You can say it through your throat chakra. That chakra corresponds with wisdom. So essentially, when you're constantly embodying that being, becoming that enlightened Devata deity, you're taking on those characteristics, traits, thought patterns, emotional patterns that being once had, and also all of those beings who have also said that mantra before you.
Yeah, like for example, Ram Dass always talks about, I am loving awareness, right? So if you invite like a deity like Jesus or the Buddha or Krishna, all these other Hinduism deities, all this stuff, Ram, right? You're inviting that loving awareness into your heart, and you speak it through your throat chakra, right? But you're embodying that and inviting that presence, that loving awareness through the heart chakra. So say you call on Jesus, who's all about unconditional love, and Jesus becomes your best friend through calling on his name every single day. Anytime, you don't have, it's not like a constant, you're just thinking Jesus' name every single waking minute of every single day, but it's more so, okay, I'm doing this mundane task throughout my day, and oh, Jesus is with me while I'm doing this task. And the more you program your subconscious mind to like resort back to that mantra meditation, the more present you're going to become in your everyday life. Like for example, yesterday I was on the lifeguard stand, and the kid that I was sitting with got off the stand, went for a swim or whatever, and I just started calling out Ram, right? And after like 3 minutes of just saying Ram, like counting on my fingers, Ram, 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 I started looking at all these people on the beach, and I was like so present in the moment and aligned with like the singularity of like all of these probably like over 100 people on the beach. I am guarding them, but they are also me, right? So I'm watching all these people experiencing the three-dimensional reality of going to the beach, right? And playing in the water, playing with the sand, digging holes, and it's my job to essentially watch over them and protect them the same way I'm calling on that Ram or that Jesus or that Buddha or all these deities to protect me throughout my day, right?
And when you constantly use that mantra, it's essentially like hanging out with God. I like to say, right? People say, "Oh, what are you doing? What's up, man?" Just hanging out. What they don't know is I'm just hanging out with God all day.
It's like everyone's got the angel and the devil on their shoulder, right? Kick off the devil, boot the devil away. Why not get Krishna and Vishnu on your shoulder, right? Or Shiva and Krishna. Like, invite all these dudes that you could have a million of them just like in your consciousness, right? And you invite them. Say you're doing something that you think is more fitting to the Buddha. You say, "Hey, Buddha, come on down. Let's hang out for a little bit. Let's be present in the moment together." And that divine presence, that awareness that you invite into your heart and your soul will come over you, and essentially you will embody those deities. And they because they are just as much you as you are them. So when you invite them into your life, you become them, and then everyone that is in your life also has that effect on you.
Because you emanate that positive energy, right? It's karma. When you're bringing in the karmic energy of these enlightened beings, right? You're bringing that into your life, and you're going to be able to spread that through your life. Your creative expression is your life. So you can spread that positive karma, that positive energy to everybody you come in contact with. And I feel as if when I'm focusing on myself and focusing on my own spiritual development and my own self-realization, I find that I'm more fulfilled, peaceful, blissful in my daily life. And that feeds onto other people. So although I'm doing this to ultimately help myself realize myself, I'm at the same time helping others with a smile on my face and offering a laugh, offering a reciprocation, a mirror for these other people to see themselves in. Because if I'm able to see other people's as myself, those other people can then look at me as themselves in a happy light, right? So you form that subtle connection with these people, even if it's just as simple as a wave when somebody lets you cross the street, or a smile when you check out at a cash register. You're giving that positive karmic energy in everything you do. You're looking at that other person as God in form, hanging out with God.
Yeah, it's that aura we talk about, your energetic field that you're giving off. So if you're radiating high vibrations, you're essentially magnetic. That's why they talk about the law of attraction, all this stuff. But with the mantra, we're still talking about the mantra. There are a lot of people in today's age that are depressed and in low vibrations because of all the things that our government put out to keep us in these low vibrational states, because they know the power of energy, frequency, and vibrations, and they're using their power to manipulate and keep us in lower states. So all of these people that say, "Oh, I have no one to reach out to, yada yada, no one cares for me," you know who cares for you? These deities that you could call upon at any waking moment of the day. If you're feeling sad, why not hang out with your buddy Jesus? Why not call on Buddha? Why not call on Krishna? Why not call on Ram, right? And invite them into your heart and open up that heart chakra. Because a lot of these people that are depressed, not only are their heart chakra, like, you gotta first balance the root to get to essentially fully unlock. That's what they say, all the rest of the chakras.
Get grounded.
And those people, they're still trapped in that root chakra. That's where all their
materialistic desires and lust.
Right? But that doesn't matter, because you could heal that stuff. But a good way to start healing that stuff is to maybe try meditation. It doesn't have to necessarily be mantra meditation. But for us, that's a good way that definitely keeps me present throughout the day, because I'm like, oh, like, it's essentially like the big question: what would Jesus do? If I'm Jesus, what would I do in any waking moment, right? How would Jesus act in this situation? If I see a lot, I was in Brooklyn the other day. There's homeless people all over New York City. You know what I'm saying? I'm in the line at Dunkin' Donuts at Penn Station. This homeless man is asking everyone in the Dunkin' Donuts line, it's a long line, for food, right? And all these people in New York are so just like accustomed to homeless people that essentially, not that they don't feel bad for them, but they don't pay any attention to it, right? But I have a very guilty conscience in the sense that, like, I feel empathy, or I try to feel empathy for everyone, and I almost like make it like my burden to help these people. So I bought the guy a donut, right? Whatever, and it made his day. But like stuff like that is just like Jesus wouldn't let that guy just like Jesus wouldn't ignore the homeless man on the street is what I'm trying to say.
What does that man need in that moment?
Exactly. Like it's just like I bought him a 69-cent donut. Like it was nothing to me, but it really probably helped him out and made him a little more happy, you know what I'm saying? Like that's what it's you got to give to get. So like it's all about putting that positive energy out into the universe, and you will receive, right? That's all it is at the end of the day.
Right, and when we talk about these devatas and mantra, right, this is essentially surrendering to God, right? It talks about in Christianity, Buddhism, Hinduism, almost any religion talks about surrendering to God. But what does that exactly mean? Right here I have the Bhagavad Gita. It says, "O Arjuna, 4 kinds of pious men surrender to me. Those in distress, those seeking wealth, those out of curiosity, and those desiring to know the absolute truth." That absolute truth being oneness, singularity, non-separation, right? After many births of self-realization, a person eventually surrenders to me, knowing me to be the cause of everything. Such a soul is very rare indeed, right? We go through this reincarnation cycle to realize our true self. We've lived an infinite amount of lives before this, and will live for eternally after. This is simply just a waking up point for us in realizing our divinity.
You know what I was thinking? Yesterday I had this realization.
Yes.
That we are very fortunate in our lives. We grew up in a good area. We both come from good families, which makes it a lot easier. Because I was thinking essentially how can people not understand this stuff? How can people not want to understand this stuff? The other day I came to the realization, right, that I was questioning why is it easier for some people to advance on the spiritual path than it is for others, right? And I came to the realization for myself, at least, that Corey and I grew up in a very good area, very good families, friends, love all around us, right? Good jobs, good school, all this stuff, versus people that have hardships, right, and don't have all this good stuff that we have. And I'm very grateful for the life that I have, but I was just questioning, how is it that I could know this stuff and some people can't? And it's because everything that I have in my life, it's very easy for me to understand this stuff, because if we cut it down to just the most basic stuff, it's just love, right? And we've experienced love. And a lot of people that are depressed, or like all the people in New York City, man, the homeless people, they never experienced unconditional love, or they wouldn't be in a situation where they're sleeping on the street, right? And that just comes back to, and I was like really like questioning this, but I'm grateful for this life that we have, and grateful for the path that we are on right now. But the thing to note is you cannot pass judgment on, because people will look at homeless people or whatever, lower vibrational people, and be like, oh, like, shame on you, you should get on what we're on and all this stuff. But you can't judge people, because everyone it's called moral luck, right? Everyone, like, if I grew up, there's the grand theory, if you were growing up in the 1940s in Germany, right, as a male, you would be a Nazi soldier, right? And you would be asked to commit heinous war crimes. But the same 18-year-old kid in the 1940s could have grew up on an island in the Caribbean, right? So it's all the moral luck of what life path you were given. And that made me start thinking about our past lives, to where I believe this is our last life in this realm, because I believe we went through all that suffering in our past lives to get us on a journey where now Earth is finally as easy as it's ever going to get for us. Versus the people that this might not be their Earth life and they're struggling now, but one day, the next time they come back to this life, it'll be so much easier for them, and so much easier for them to recognize this spiritual journey that we are on, right?
We've been loved unconditionally by our parents, by our peers, by our friends, right? And so it's much easier for us to understand what that love actually means and how to actually reciprocate that love towards the world. So, like you're saying, like, moral luck, like we've been gifted with this spot on this planet. We're living in New Jersey on the beach with a great community and great families. That's our dharma in this life, is to fulfill the spiritual path, to spread love, to spread wisdom, and to find ourselves, to find that self-realization of what truth really is, right? Find what it really means to be a human being, right? And we're trying to fall back into our beingness.
Hell yeah.
Our beingness is love. Our beingness is singularity and oneness. So that's something that we've been able to truly cultivate and find in our lives. And you see, we're sitting here right now trying to awaken other people and spread that information and wisdom to anybody who will lend an open ear, right? That's what it's all about, is just being able to cultivate a spiritual community, a community around consciousness and self-development, self-realization, right? And we talked about the satsang, right? The satsang, which is your spiritual community. Like, me and him have been lucky and fortunate enough to go through this spiritual awakening essentially together. We both awakened at almost exactly the same exact time.
Not even almost.
So exactly the same time. So we've been able to converse with each other and share these ideas and these ideas about reality that others may not share. We've been fortunate enough to have somebody else, an ear that's going to listen and relate to. And I got a lot of comments on the 5D page of like, you guys are so lucky that you have somebody else to talk to. Like, who am I to talk to about this? And I get DMs on Instagram of like, can you please help me? Like, talk to me. I have nobody to talk to about this. And it's like, I feel very fortunate that we have this great relationship where we can spread this knowledge to each other and then be able to have so much love within each other, be able to spread the wisdom on the internet. Like, we're able to reach so many people just because we've been able to cultivate this relationship based around this idea of self-realization.
Yeah, and it's like my favorite thing that I don't know if you got it from the Bhagavad Gita, but you texted me, or no, I think it was from the Ram Dass book, talking about we are the Brahman, experiencing the Brahman, are like living underneath the Brahman, serving the Brahman, right? So like essentially what I'm saying is we are God filming this podcast off of a camera, which is also made up of energy. So that's God. And then we're in the middle of the woods. So this is God. And what are we doing it for? All of you guys who are also God, and we're just like in this God realm, right? It's just like everything is God, and we are trying to help you guys awaken to that, because when you understand everything is God, you also must understand that everything is love, right? And when you understand everything is love, that you cannot be in a low vibration, because you don't see anything as bad. Everything just is, right? And that was like, I think you posted the Alan Watts clip where he was like talking about
someone who thinks all the time has nothing to think about but thoughts.
Exactly. And that is essentially an illusion. So like we talk about, our mind is programmed to give us millions of thoughts every single day, but it's more or less what we identify with, those thoughts that we identify with, that create our reality, or like this grand illusion and distortion in this plane, right? So like I have thoughts all day. I don't necessarily identify with all of them, because some of them may not be good, right? Exactly. Think of when you're sitting in meditation, and that's another form of meditation, contemplation, right? Think of your thoughts as clouds. You'll see, or sheeps, just counting sheeps, right? The cloud will pass, right? Your little thought bubble, it's just slowly moving across your brain, right? Woo! It gets in the front, in your front focus of whatever you're meditating on, and you just see it pass by. Then you pop that cloud, because it's not you. It's separate from you. You are not your thoughts or your emotions, right? They're both separate. So what you are though is God experiencing those thoughts and emotions. You can't identify with that, because that's where you bring distortion into this reality, because everything just is.
Our soul is so pure and innocent, and we get to see this world and we assign meaning to these things. Our thoughts that we say, oh, that's bad, oh, that's good, this is holy, this is evil. Those are just labels, and we assign the meaning to those things. So whatever thoughts you're having, they hold no meaning other than the meaning that you give it. Like, if you are sad, if you are happy, you have cultivated and created that experience for yourself. You have ultimate control over your mind, right? This body is your vehicle, and this mind is what interprets this physical reality. Your spirit is what experiences it. So we're simply innocent pieces, parts of the Brahman, of God experiencing itself, right? Like, it's similar to as if you developed a video game. Oh, who's going to be the first person to test this video game? Me. Let's go in my creation, right? You're going to go into that game and experience it for the first time as if you've never seen it before, right? It ultimately gives you a very deep understanding of yourself to go within yourself. That's what meditation is. You go within yourself to experience yourself. We've incarnated within God. God is incarnated within God to experience itself. All of it is, it's just a grand drama that we constantly create. We create these melodramas in our head, assign meaning to things. Oh, we love that person. We hate that person. Oh, I don't want to get up today. All of it is just a grand drama.
Think of God as Shakespeare, man. It's just one big drama.
Yeah, he's got the pen.
I was talking to some kid on the lifeguard stand the other day, and he was asking me, how do you know the Matrix is real? Or like, essentially, how do you know God is real? And how I know, and this is what I told him on how I know the Matrix is real. I was like, if you think of everything in consciousness, right? We talk about the densities of consciousness, things having low vibration, high vibration. The higher vibration, the more conscious being you are, right? So think about an ant, right? You see an ant crawling. We're in the middle of the woods. We get ticks on us all the time in this woods. But to the tick or the ant, right? We are essentially God, right? They can't comprehend what we are, and we have full control over what happens. Like, if that tick crawls up my leg, I have full control. I can just kill that ant, or that tick rather. And it's the same way that I can manipulate that tick or ant's reality because I am more of a conscious being than it, right? So there must be a presence out there, the Tao, right? The Brahman, all this stuff, this chi, the all pure flowing energy, right? There's a consciousness out there that can manipulate my reality because it is more conscious than I am, correct? So that's how I know we live in a holographic universe, because it must have been intelligently orchestrated in cosmic consciousness so that we could be sitting here right now talking on a camera. Like, who created this mic? It was just some human downloaded a thought from higher cosmic intelligence and manipulated reality and energy so that this could come into physical form, right?
This is our vehicle of creation. Our mind, we have the ability to download every thought, every idea already exists. We simply resonate at the frequency of these ideas, these frequencies. We download them, and we use this vehicle to manipulate this physical world into creation, right? Whether that be music, artwork, inventions, right? Anything. Whether it be writing this book, all of these ideas have already existed. We're simply experiencing these ideas, and we're going to, whether it be for monetary gain, whether it be for self-realization purposes, whatever it may be. We got the Amazon Prime truck pulling in over here. Amazon Palm Pay just came out. But okay, so after this truck pulls out, I have a nice little quote about a self-realized person, right? Let's move into this. A self-realized person has no attachment to the results of prescribed actions. He has no motivation to perform them because he has nothing to gain or to lose. So ponder that for a moment. Here. So
I want to read it myself.
Okay, here.
You talk about it, I'll read it.
So a self-realized person has no attachment to these prescribed... All right, we got cut off a little bit early. But what is it that allows us to expand our consciousness, right? Because I feel as if there is never a dull moment. Other people may experience a part of a moment, an aspect of a moment, without realizing the true nature of everything that's going around them, right? Somebody may be walking in the woods and see a deer running, but fail to see the people running behind them about to jump them or rob them, right? That's just an aspect of the moment. Oh, damn, right?
But some people might think this. They'll see the deer running across, but they'll think that deer is them. And they will also think the people trying to kill them is them as well. Now that's awareness that has been fully expanded, right? And I believe that, like you said, like we experience, like we're doing this right now. but it's not just us talking to a camera. Like, we're experiencing all of the elements. We're experiencing each other. I'm in your energetic field right now. Like, I could feel your vibration. You could feel my vibration. Like, we're in the flow state. Like, we're going. But our awareness has been expanded to this point right now, because it can never, like, it can never expand too much. You know, there's no end. It's infinite consciousness, infinite intelligence, right?
Eternal and supreme.
Exactly. So, like, I believe that we get to experiencing these moments differently than some people that are in lower vibrational states, because we have put in the time to attempt to expand our awareness. Like, we sit down in meditation every day, multiple times a day, for the purpose that when we go out in the real world, we are at a different wavelength or different vibration than most people out there. So, like, in a sense, that's why they do talk about the spiritual ego, because, like, I have it, I know you have it. Like, it's kind of hard not to have, because you do know that not
it's
to
impossible
sound,
not to have.
I'm trying not even to sound like egotistical right now. I'm not, but, like, we do understand that we are at a higher vibration than other people. So that, yes, I guess that could essentially mean that I think I'm better than someone else. But I try not to resonate. I try not to identify with that spiritual ego, because it is the number one distortion of the spiritual path, right? You go on this path to experience unconditional love and see everyone else as yourself. But on your other shoulder, you have the spiritual ego, which is telling you, oh, you're so much better than that person, because they're not as far along as you on the spiritual path. So it's the balance, right? You gotta figure out when to choose the unconditional love and when to just kick off this spiritual ego, right? And try to choose the unconditional love at all times, right? When you let go of the ego, that's like, by letting go of the ego it's impossible, right? But you could try to.
Enlightenment is letting go of the ego.
Exactly. You can try to. That's what this game is all about. It's just letting go of the ego, right? And when you're fully present, the ego cannot survive, right? When you're thinking about the past and the future, that is when the ego thrives the most, because you're just always thinking about, like, oh, like, if you're thinking about you got in an argument with someone, you already know you have to apologize or have a conversation with them. Your ego is just thinking, like, they're gonna be so mad at me, blah blah blah. They're so upset, yada yada. It doesn't matter, because you are not that. I am not John, right? I am just a being experiencing that argument for a finite amount of time.
Yeah, it's about realizing with non-attachment what this life is about. The ego is what attaches desires and labels, right? And getting rid of the ego, we must have an attachment or a desire to get rid of the ego. The ego is ultimately what destroys itself. We've created the ego in our own mind, and the ego needs us to see in separation and duality to exist.
And we would never be able to get to the point of singularity if we didn't have polarity, right? So, like, or the ego rather, like, we would never be, there would be no singularity if there was no separation to begin with. Mm-hmm. There would be no spiritual path. It would just, we would already be enlightened, essentially. So, like, as much as the ego sucks and we gotta let it go, you still need it to understand your journey.
The ego allows us to experience, right? Without the ego, we would not have a fun experience like we do on Earth. The ego lets us say, oh, this is quite the thrill. Oh, let's go jump out of a plane and see what that's all about. Let's go do a backflip on skis and see how that feels. Like, the ego is what drives us to do these things and act with action, right? But ultimately, this cultivation of self-realization and knowledge allows us. The ego destroys itself, right? Through meditation. The ego wants to sit down in meditation, but through sitting down in meditation, the ego starts to dissipate. The ego destroys itself, right? Through mindfulness.
Or it becomes more prevalent.
It could do that.
You don't know. You never know.
You never know. You never know. But it's with the intent and goal in mind of...
Good intentions.
Yes,
always.
Good intentions. Good intentions always. But We never know the true motivating factors behind us because the subconscious mind is a whole other podcast we can get into. But
whole different battle here. Guys.
Whole other battle. But
if you want to experience the ego and fuck around in the third dimension, all power to you. You know what I mean? Like that's what it's all about here. You got to. We always talk about the balance, the yin and the yang. You need to experience that ego, like we've been saying, to understand the path that you are on and to fully becoming a self-realized being.
Go feel those pleasures. Go feel those. Yeah, literally. Go feel
live out
pleasures.
your desires. Go go get drunk. Go smoke. Go do
have sex with whoever you want.
Do whatever makes you happy, right? But at the end of the day, you have, and there's no such thing as a bad thing. Like all those things we just listed off are, if you're talking about a spiritual journey, are bad things, low vibrational things. But nothing is essential. We talked about nothing is good nor bad. It's just like we said, the intent we put behind those things. And if you want to go drink for the night, okay, we drink sometimes, but like it's all about being conscious while you're doing so. So like, yes, I have friends that drink all the time and black out and don't remember what happened, and I'm there with them, but I haven't never blacked out. Because I am just conscious of the thing. If I feel, I'm getting pretty drunk right now, I'm gonna slow down or just stop drinking and have a water, right? It's all about conscious practices. Like you can't go out drinking for the night and just like let the alcohol take over. You can't be that unconscious.
You can't
person.
become the alcohol. Yeah. The alcohol lowers your vibration.
Because then you're that guy, and don't be that guy.
Right? The frequency of what you frequent becomes your frequency. If you're always drinking, you're always smoking, you're always.
I'm drinking Mountain Dew right now. It's good. It's 3D. I like Mountain Dew. I'm conscious that this is terrible for me and probably.
But how frequently do you do it?
Not often. Not often. This is probably my first Mountain Dew in a couple months. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I desired to have Mountain Dew today, so I went to Jersey Mike's, got a sub, and got some Dew.
But you're not attached to that desire. You could have not gotten that Mountain Dew, and you'd still be in the same mental state. Finish it right now for the camera. Chug, 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 chug.
The Dew's gone.
Johnny Chestnut. Well,
yeah.
All right.
If you want to eat 100 glizzies, go for it, man. That's what the 3.
Do we have a call out?
Want
to call out Amazon?
Yeah, I don't fuck with that Pompeii shit. What's good, Amazon? Why are you doing that stuff? Yeah, why can't I pay with my card, bro?
That's like just a dystopian. Yeah. Just let me pay with my card. How hard is it to tap your card on the thing opposed to tap your hand?
Let me pay with cash. How does that work, though? You get
it's like no, it's similar to like the Touch ID for your phone or computer.
But how do they know what
They scan it. It's called Amazon One.
So you do it like one time, and then anytime you go purchase something, it has.
It has everybody has your palm print.
That's mad sus, Amazon. Bezos,
I don't like it.
Get it together, man. Get a grip.
It's a dystopian horror movie.
What's that one villain they compared him to? I don't even know. What's the dude from Austin Powers?
Oh.
Dr. Evil? Is that
Dr. Evil,
Is that his name?
I think so.
The little one, though.
Well, all
right.
That's
Bezos,
awesome.
Amazon Pompeii. We're watching all of you people. As always, we're watching YouTube.
We're watching YouTube.
But before we do that, do not forget that this is a podcast. We're infinite consciousness. Everything that we're experiencing is infinite consciousness. But we did the call out too early. But the time on this podcast
is not infinite.
It's been a while, though, so we kind of...
Although we reign eternal and supreme, this podcast is finite.
It's finite podcast.
So,
thank you for watching episode 30.
And keep an eye out for us going on Spotify and Apple Music. We'll be doing that very soon.
Also, click the link. Spreadshop 5D merch. The merch is awesome. It's very 5D, if you ask me.
Very 5D.
Very 5D. If you put it on, you won't even have to sit
You
down
may move up the
You won't have to
scale.
meditate anymore. It's like, if you get a 5D shirt, it's like you could skip meditating for the week.
Yeah, that's essentially.
That's like kind of how it works.
You just emanate love and wisdom.
It's kind
all
of
the
how
time.
it maybe like you'd maybe not ever have to meditate again if you buy them.
You might just be him when you
You're-
get it.
yeah.
You become him.
We should make a shirt that says "I'm him."
I am him. Yeah.
I am him.
All right, we're ending with I am him.
Yeah.
We're watching you, YouTube.
We're always watching.